What is up, you beautiful bastards? It is 10:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That means only one thing. On a Monday night, Jukebox Dance Off is live. This is the second match in New Wave November, and this is our sort of our road to the crown, or our journey to the crown. As we have everybody in this tournament has at least one win in Dance Off, and we'll be duking it out to see at the Snowball event who will be the first Jukebox Dance Off champion. We got a dandy match here for you today, as we have two quiet, usually reserved players. I'm making them, you gotta unleash their inner beast. You gotta see that fire. You gotta see that passion. That is Jess Morgan taking on Malcolm Lay. Before we get to them, I need to introduce our judges today. First off, you can find him on Multiplex running the Fandom League singles teams. You can see him being either the kid or the king, depending on who you talk to. That is Caleb Coho. Caleb, how are you doing today? And how do you feel about these competitors? One of them beat you in the very first dance-off.
I'm feeling good. It's been a good day. I'm wearing, as always, when it comes to the debates, my speech and debate state tournament hat. I I like both the people playing tonight. I like one a little bit more than the other, and that's because I was unjustly ruled against in that final question. My dance off. I'm still salty. That will never go away. I'm just saying. The legitimate worst one-hit wonder is not Fountains of Wayne. They literally won a Grammy. But anyway, that's not the fight tonight. And Malcolm is going to be great. Jess is going to be great. She beat me for a reason. She's got a lot of chops, and she's very good. So yeah, this is going to be a good one.
All right, and joining us as well today, you can find him on Wednesdays on Watch Along at Take 3. You can also find him on Thursdays on Late Night Take 3 as the defending Late Night with Take 3 mini speedrun debate champion of the Full Metal Multiplex fan trivia communities of the world. Mortal enemy to Canada, Cody Newberry. Cody, why did I let you on here, and how do you feel about today's match?
Because you're fucking desperate. That's basically how I get booked on these shows, because they need people and I'm available. And Caleb, even when it's not his match, it has to be about Caleb, which I love. And also, he's the kid, but now he's growing a mustache, so he possibly will be the teenager going through puberty. So that will be an interesting turn. I hope you can do the voice cracks. But I'm really excited to see Malcolm and Jessica, because I'm not rooting for anybody because I'm a judge, and that's not how you can do. But Malcolm does that to me on Late Night all the time. He likes Matthew better than me. Malcolm proved so much that he is actually getting better and better at debates. So this is going to be actually a true test when it's actually long rounds and prepped fights. So I hope he's prepped. And Jessica backs with Nico in her corner, so I can't really, in good conscience, root for Jessica being backed with Nico. So that's that. Okay. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the minds of our competitors. First off, I'm going to start with the person who won the very first dance-off way back in March, early April. I kind of don't remember. But this was a longtime rival of mine. Great person all around. That is the Vicious Trollop, Jess Morgan. Jess, how are we doing today? And I know it's been a while since you have competed in Dance Off, but how do you feel going up against Malcolm?
Oh, well, there's at least one or two of these questions that are most decidedly in my wheelhouse. So I'm hoping that I can do at least halfway worth of damn.
All right. Cool. And your opponent today, you can find him on Take 3 with Raycom. He won his first match against Brian Fernandez in a very interesting match for sure. That is Malcolm Goldie-Lay. Malcolm, how are you doing today? How do you feel going up against Jess? And these questions, what was your prep for
them? At least a couple of them was like I didn't have to prep much. It was like I knew where I wanted to go, and but I mean, I'm just excited just to compete again. Because I've had to prep for 2 debates today. One of them you won't see for a while yet because it's needs to be edited. But So that was definitely interesting, and I just can't wait to see what happens.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I will go over the rules. Each question, there have been 4 questions that were given to our competitors at least 24 hours in advance. It's been prep questions. Have a 1-minute opening followed by a 5-minute freeform where they get to go at each other, and then they will have a 45-second closing just to kind of wrap everything up. There will be no filibustering, and please no punching of the hair or face. The one random rule that I have in Dance Off for some reason. And how it's going to work is, Jess, because you are the higher ranked competitor, because you are the first person to ever compete in Dance Off and win, you will get to decide what questions you would like to go first on.
Okay. Let's start with number 2.
Okay, so you're gonna go first on you're gonna go first in number 2, and what question? Or sorry, and what other question? Sorry.
Number 3.
Okay, so you are going to go first in Best Member from Backstreet Boys and the worst cover of a Who song. So we will start out with those. So the order that we'll go is we'll go question number 2, then question number 1, then question number 3, and then question number 4. That way we have an alternation of who goes first in the debates and who closes. So question number 2, guys. Jess will be going first in this one. Who is the best member of the Backstreet Boys? These guys just released a music video last week, and it got 4.6 million views. So, I mean, they're obviously popular. So we got to figure out who is the best member. Jess, you have 1 minute. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Okay, so when I think about what the Backstreet Boys meant to me, especially considering Malcolm is at least close to my age, but none of these other kids were even close to being able to remember the boy band craze at its peak. I think Coho was still pooping in his own drawers. There was always that one member that you always gravitated towards. Like, my favorite, he's had, I think, the better solos in their career. I think he's had the better parts in music videos in their career. And I think he has a better voice than what Malcolm's Choice does. So I'm going to go with the dark horse of the Backstreet Boys. I like AJ.
Alrighty, well, you guys heard it here. Jess is picking AJ as the best member for the Backstreet Boys. Malcolm, you have 1 minute for your opening statement. Let's hear who you got.
Yeah, I mean, for me, every time I think of the Backstreet Boys, the first one that comes to mind is Nick Carter. He is the one that most people seem to names like. You ask a random person on the street, like, name a member of the Backstreet Boys, the name that is going to get mentioned the most is Nick Carter. He is the best member of the Backstreet Boys. Most of the rest haven't really done a lot since in that period where they weren't releasing the albums. Nick has had a bit of a solo career himself, so yeah, I went with Nick Carter.
You have 20 more seconds if you would like.
I don't really have anything else to add.
Patented late night with Take 3 move, ending 15 seconds early. We'll see if this is going to pay off. All right, guys, you have 5 minutes of free form. I am going to warn you at 1 minute, whenever you have 1 minute left. So let's get it on.
Okay, so there's a few of the songs you think of directly first thing, and one of the most memorable parts for me of some of the Backstreet Boys songs is in I Want It That Way when we hit the bridge. And who gets the best part of the bridge? Not Nick Carter. It is AJ. he is pairing himself with Kevin, but he does get the more melodic parts of Do It That Way, as opposed to Nick just kind of screeching in the background. I don't know why he ever actually got on to the group. He sounds like a howler monkey. It pains me to say it, but his little brother is a better singer than him, and oh god, Aaron Carter is garbage. The best thing that Nick Carter ever did for his career was being the blonde in a boy band. Although, how do you be the ugly blonde in a boy band? I don't know how that happens. And going on Dancing with the Stars, and oh wait, he also lost that one too.
Nick Carter is the best. Like AJ can be really forgettable at times. Like I can listen to a Backstreet Boys song and recognize Nick easily. AJ, like all the other ones, they just sort of sound the same and don't really. You can't really distinguish which is which. Nick is really distinguishable.
How do you say that AJ does not have a distinctive voice? If you have heard anything in the Backstreet Boys musical genre that has any bit of soul or feeling behind it, Dollar to a Donut says AJ fucking sang it. Take AJ out of the group and it's just new direction. Ew.
Nick's had a AJ hasn't really had did not have any sort of success in the period of time when the Backstreet Boys had taken hiatus. The only time he got relevant again was when the Backstreet Boys came up. Nick had a lot of solo stuff in between there, and he got a lot of success with it. But apart from that, AJ hasn't really done anything and sort of gotten anything good out of it.
Now, I thought that the question was the best member of the band, taking it as the band as a whole. I was not distinguishing through their forgettable solo careers because every single one has had a forgettable solo career. Name one actual single that Nick Carter ever had. But I'm talking about like the sequences in "I'll Never Break Your Heart" that are the most memorable. AJ, As Long as You Love Me. Who's in the middle of the 5-shot turning off the camera on the girls that are watching them? Oh yeah, that's AJ. Who had probably the best costume in the Everybody music video? I think it was the Phantom of the Opera. God, who was that guy? Oh yeah, it was AJ.
1 minute left.
And not only that, even in his personal life, which yes, he does not have that much of a solo career because the boy has had some demons, like every single bad boy has. And considering I have seen actual friendships dissolve over how us teen opera girls were affected by his demons and issues, I'm going to say that he probably definitely had the most impact in a scared little millennial 14-year-old girl. I got nothing else, man.
Yeah, Dan.
Malcolm, anything? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, a very polite debate. No interrupting, which I'm kind of surprised, but to each their own. So we are going to go into 45-second closings. Jess, because you are first. Malcolm will be going first because they switch. That's how we've done it in the past. But yeah, Malcolm, 45 seconds to close up anything that you got. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Nick is the best member because he's the only one had some sort of a solo career that a lot of people really recognize. He's the most recognizable member of the band. AJ is just forgettable. I mean, even in the bridge, like I can't distinguish AJ's voice out of the other four. Nick is the one I can instantly gravitate when I listen to a Backstreet Boys song.
All right. Cool. Ending 10 seconds early. We'll see how that pays off. Jess, you got 45 seconds. Let's wrap everything up. And yeah, time begins whenever you're talking.
Okay, Nick seems to be the most recognizable member of the Backstreet Boys because you have to market the cute, air quotes, very necessary little blonde, because what kind of boy band markets on the basis of their bad boy? But the man singing is a screeching hyena. Malcolm keeps bringing up his solo career, and I have not heard a single mention by him. AJ has the soulful voice necessary to elevate the group beyond just a teeny bopper boy band. He has the best parts in most of their songs. If you remember a hook, chances are that it's actually AJ singing it, and he gets the best parts in pretty much all of their music videos. There's no question in my mind that AJ McLean is actually the superior Backstreet Boy.
Alrighty, well, that was an interesting debate, to say the least. I am going to get my vote out of the way first, just to kind of go over some points. Malcolm really going over just how Nick is sort of the most recognizable member of the band. He's had a solid career. He stands out. He's had a good solo career. But then Jess really sort of cleaned house. AJ having the better solos. His work in various songs, As Long As You Love Me, everybody, and just the way that he has been. And then just the way that she called out Malcolm on Nick's solo career, where Malcolm couldn't name a single from Nick's solo career. So my point pretty confidently goes to Jess. I'm gonna go to Cody next, based on the arguments provided. You get your points.
I'm disgusted that I had to hear an argument on freaking Backstreet Boys. It's like, who's the best turd in the room? I would have went with Howie, the tall guy. I think it's Howie. No, I wouldn't went with Howie. Who's the guy? Kevin, tall guy with the hair,
with the
goatee. Yeah, just looked like a creeper in the back that just wandered across and started singing. Like, I think that would have been the best choice. But I think Jess, it's the reason why I'm going this way, because I hate musicians, so I don't care about music whatsoever in this debate. The reason why I'm going the way I am with Jess is because of the dead air space. Like, Jess controlled all the middle pretty much, and I know probably Malcolm's not that passionate about Backstreet Boys at this point. So I just don't know how you pick the lead singer of the boy band and can't win it. Like, that's where it's rough for me, because I thought Nick was the clear runaway, because no offense to any of you guys, you can't pick out any voices besides a few unless they have like a break off. But yeah, I'm giving it to Jess.
Alrighty, well, that means Jess does get the point. Caleb, your vote did not factor in, but how would you have swayed?
The knockout hit was when Jess said, name a single from Nick, and there was no response. So I got to give my point to Jess. That was a knockout hit there. But yeah, no, I don't. I agree with Cody. I don't know how you can pick the lead singer of the Backstreet Boys and then not defend, like, not read up enough to be able to defend that choice. So yeah, I did give my point to Jess.
Don't argue boy bands with me.
Alrighty, guys. So Jess does strike blood first, getting the first point there. I do remind, I don't think I mentioned this, but this is a race to 3 points. So she only needs 2 more, but there is plenty of debating left to go. We are now going to go to question number 1. Not really a reason why, not really a motivation as to why I picked this year. It's probably the year that I started like really listening to music, and probably my favorite albums have come from this year. So I'm genuinely curious to hear what others have to say. So the question is, what is the best album from the year 2000? Malcolm, you will be going first in this question. You have 1 minute. Time begins whenever you start yapping.
Well, the best album from the year 2000, it's by far my favorite album of the year. It's No Strings Attached by NSYNC. This is the best-selling album of 2000. It has a lot of songs that are recognizable on it. It's definitely one of the defining albums of NSYNC's career. It's got like the great songs like Bye Bye Bye, It's Gotta Be Me. It's definitely one a really great songs. It's some of the best of NSYNC. So yeah, I went with No Strings Attached for NSYNC.
Alrighty, ending once again 15 seconds early. This is also almost a patented Malcolm approach. Jess, you have 1 minute for your opening statements. Who did you pick and why?
Okay, so we're back to music that came out when Jess was 14. Which was actually the prime time of me actually listening to music because, small child with disposable income. And this small child with disposable income happened to be in one of those tourist trap malls in Washington, D.C. I think it was Union Station. And I found a record store. And the album that I chose to pick up at that time and had pretty much listened to almost constantly for the next, doing math, 18 years, was the Marshall Mathers LP by Eminem. It was one of the first rap albums that I actually ever picked up. Don't hate on me, Kansas, let it go. But it introduced me to this whole other world of music that I had barely even knew existed, even with having MTV at home.
All right. Well, Marshall Mathers LP is going up against No Strings Attached. I wish my buddy was here because his favorite album ever, I think, is No Strings Attached by NSYNC. But guys, 5 minutes, 5 minute free form. Have at her, and keep in mind what Cody said. There's a lot of that there in the last one, so try to take the lead, try to take the charge.
Well, the problem with the Marshall Mathers LP is it doesn't even have the best songs of Eminem's career on that album. No Strings Attached has the best songs of NSYNC's career on the album. Bye 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 and It's Gotta Be Me are definitely top two of the NSYNC songs. The Marshall Mathers LP got very forgettable as the career, as he started releasing more hits, and it kind of gets lost in the shuffle now.
Okay, I don't understand how the Marshall Mathers LP slowly got forgettable as he released more songs from that. Because the third single that was actually released off of that album was the same one that ended up getting performed live at the Grammys with Elton John, of all people, in that hideous pink and yellow polka dotted suit. That thing is burned into my brain for all eternity. And then the closing shots of Eminem embracing Elton John despite the homophobia that people found into his lyrics, and then responding with the double birds of the cameras and All of America. That was easily the most memorable night of that entire Grammys that year. Which one of these albums actually got Grammys that year? Because it was not No Strings Attached. Literally the only award that album ever received was a Billboard award for top 200 album, because yes, it sold more, but Suicide Squad also got $700 some odd million at the box office. That didn't make it good. Sorry, music debate, not movies. Coming back. Okay, but we've got various singles on the Marshall Mathers LP of course, they had to come out with the obligatory, oh, we're going to have the happy, jokey opening single, which actually heavily influenced the second single on the album, which was The Way I Am, where you see Eminem just coming clear out and telling everybody, you know what? I'm just a dude. Leave me the fuck alone. Let me do my thing. There is absolutely no message in No Strings Attached besides, oh, we got rid of our pedophile manager.
Having a message in an album doesn't make an album good. It just makes your album have a message. And same with winning Grammy. Winning Grammy doesn't really mean it's good. It means it depends on what the whole what the Grammy board decided to give the awards to that year. I mean, well, yes, awards hold value, but it doesn't mean that No Strings Attached is not good. No Strings Attached, like the songs had really great, fun music videos. I mean, and you still hear Bye 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 and It's Gonna Be Me playing in the clubs today. You'd really sometimes you hear a couple of Eminem songs for the Mushroom Rats LP, but you really don't hear a lot of them much. A lot of the songs you hear is things like Without Me, Love the Way You Lie from his other albums.
1 minute
And I
left.
bet you if I walked the quarter mile to the karaoke bar that is nearest to me and turned on Real Slim Shady, I would totally not have every single dude and chick in that bar rapping right along with me. You know what happens when you turn on Bye Bye Bye? You get an empty room. And a drunken asshole trying to do the dance. Very poorly. I think, honestly, we can say, especially considering the previous question, that I am firmly in the screw in sync camp. So this has been kind of difficult for me. Not really. Other than the fact that we have Bye 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 and It's Gotta Be Me. Do you even know any other albums, any other singles that were released off of that album?
Time. All right. Interesting little debacle there. We have 45-second closing arguments. Jess, you will be going first. So be sure to wrap up your statements.
Okay, the Marshall Mathers LP has 3 of the best rap singles to probably have been released in the 2000s in the Real Slim Shady, The Way I Am, and Stan. Stan even looking at the dark side of creepy fandoms. No Strings Attached you have in their singles. Bye Bye to My Manager, I Love You, I Love You, I Love You. It was getting to a dark time in the world once these albums were released. And the Marshall Mathers LP was one of them that began to reflect that new, darker time that we were about to head into. I didn't need the happy-go-lucky from No Strings Attached. I needed real life.
Panelists of the show, please dock those statements that were out of time from the record. Perfect. All right. Malcolm, 45 seconds. Be sure to wrap up your statements.
The Marshall Mathers LP is not the best Eminem album, let alone the best album from the 2000s. No Strings Attached is a great album. You've got Bye Bye Bye. You've got It's Gonna Be Me. Well, yes, some of the other songs aren't that well known. It's because they weren't really released as singles. But I mean, but with the Marshall Mathers LP, you've only got those 3 songs on there. The other ones on that, who knows what the other songs on that are? Like, it's aside from Real Slim Shady and Stan, all the other songs are really forgettable, and definitely not in the best songs of Eminem's career.
All right. Well, interesting closing arguments. This is actually a lot closer than the last match. Some great points brought up by both. I'm going to go to Caleb though first. Caleb, based on arguments provided, who gets your point and why?
See, Jess got really hung up on the Grammy ceremony of that year and didn't give me a whole lot about the album. Malcolm did a good job of attacking Marshall Mathers LP as well, and Jess kind of fell back to the same argument she had last round, which was name a blank off of blank. And Malcolm didn't really have any time to respond because I think Jess kind of filibustered a bit. But I don't think that really needed to be like brought up because Malcolm did a better. I mean, the argument was about the albums, and I think Malcolm argued his album and better than Jess argued Marshall Mathers over the Grammy ceremony. So, give my point to you, Malcolm.
Okay, I'm going to go next, and just sort of the points that I got were from Jess was Stan's like just the importance of Stan, and then obviously the critical acclaim that it got from Grammys, and just sort of how she broke down some of the songs, and just how essentially that she was saying that Real Slim Shady is greater than Bye Bye Bye, just how it's more not recognizable, but like if you play it in the crowd, you're gonna get more attention than Bye Bye Bye. Malcolm also had some great points. How No Strings Attached was best selling album of the year, talking about some of the singles, of course, Bye Bye Bye, It's Gonna Be Me. How he really hammered home how Eminem has better songs on different albums, so it's not even the best Eminem album. The problem that I had with Malcolm and why I'm giving my point to Jess is because I heard points from Malcolm is that the message, just because you have a message doesn't equal good. There doesn't mean that it's good, and that just because you have awards doesn't mean that they mean something or they have any value. I just wanted to hear some examples because it's really easy. It's really easy to just say those things and not really back it up. That is why I'm giving my point to Jess. It's probably like a 55-45 split. But I am going to give my point to Jess. Cody, based on the arguments provided, who gets your point?
Welcome, everybody. If you haven't noticed this yet, it's the Shit on Brooklyn corner. That is a dumb answer. Like, it's literally not – I wouldn't say it's fact, but not always best. Anything wins when it comes to award time. It's pretty much a proven fact. That's why they had to come up with a popular category. It wasn't brought up, so that's a fair enough assessment why you think that. I think this was decided on less is more. Malcolm was able to hit the jabs and stay back, and Jess went on rants about some stuff that's actually not fact, because if you have a problem with that one being a fact, I have a problem with if I put on Slim Shady at a bar, I'd get more people rapping along than singing Bye Bye Bye. I think that's completely different wherever you're at. Like, if you get enough drunk people, they're all going to be singing Bye Bye Bye. So that's it. And by the way, Malcolm picked Space Cowboys on that thing, and that is the most ridiculous opening to anything ever. Here's Millennium, but everybody's talking about Jerusalem. Terrible rhyming, terrible thing, but Malcolm wins the point today.
Alrighty, well, by split decision, Malcolm does get the point there, tying things up.
Remember that on late night, Malcolm.
Cody trying to earn some brownie points for the other show.
I just want to win one time with Malcolm. Malcolm hates me.
A long-term investment. We'll see if it pays off. We are now going to go into to the third question, which is actually question number 3. Get it back up here. So one I've heard. There's a streamer that I watch, and they have a playlist, and on their playlist they have a couple of songs that are covers of Who. They are not the greatest ones, so I was like, this is probably a good time to debate it. So question number 3 is, what is the worst cover of a song by The Who? Jess, you are going to be going first in this one. You have 1 minute. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Okay, so one of the biggest risks that you come across in doing a cover is, besides picking a band that is uncoverable, but this isn't a Beatles list, this is not The Who. But anywho, one of the biggest things that you can try to do to make the song your own is a genre switch. And every once in a while it works, but most of the time, oh my god, what did you just do? And I had to do a little bit of research to find this one, but the Waco Brothers' Baba O'Reilly. One of the greatest fiddle solos of all time, mashed into this weird country slash bluegrass slash, I guess they call it alternative country. Like, what the fuck is that anyway? But it completely does not work on every single level, and I'm not even sure why this exists.
Alrighty. Well, the great country genre switch of Baba O'Reilly. Malcolm, it is your turn. You got 1 minute. Time begins whenever you're talking.
The absolute correct answer is Behind Blue Eyes by Limp Bizkit. This is like the worst cover of a Who song. It's really it is long. It is drawn out. If you listen to it, you fall asleep. It's the only thing it is good for is if you are having trouble sleeping and you want something to listen to. We just picked the Waco Brothers' Baba O'Reilly. I listened to it. It's not bad. I actually like the genre switch. And it's one of those ones, if you like country, you can enjoy that song. I mean, it's enjoyable.
All right. Patented Malcolm Goldie ending 10 seconds early. We'll see if this pays off. 5 minutes of freeform, guys. This should be interesting. Let's get it on.
Okay, first off, good God, this is going to be difficult. Okay, I can kind of see what they were actually trying to do with Limp Bizkit's Behind Blue Eyes. It came off to me as kind of getting into something a bit more evocative of the lyrics, because first hearing the lyrics in The Who, you don't really get the tone of what they're trying to say, and I think that actually does come across a lot better in Limp Bizkit's version of the song, even with the tempo change and the slowdown and the putting Malcolm to sleep. You know what? Sometimes you do need to sleep. Sometimes you need a little something in the background to get yourself to sleep. But turning the single most recognizable violin piece in any kind of popular music and turning it into a hoedown fiddle is an affront to humanity, and it should have been stopped before it started. I'm not even the biggest fan of country music in the first place, and seeing that they completely ruined one of the better Who singles, it was kind of depressing, actually.
You said it right there. You're not a big fan of country music. I'm a big fan of country music, and when I listened to the song, I felt enjoyable. I enjoyed what they did, and they made the song their own by twisting it and making it work in a country setting. Behind Blue Eyes by Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit has not really released a good song ever. Behind Blue Eyes is by far their worst song ever, let alone their worst Who cover. And drawing it out just really does not work for the song. The song by The Who is Behind Blue Eyes may not be their well-known one, but Limp Bizkit made people not want to care about going to find the original to listen to it because they would think that the original song is that long and boring to listen to.
See, I'm trying not to hit the same points here and again, but I did actually enjoy the tonal slowdown. I think it made the lyrics hit a little bit harder. And I do actually remember back when this movie came out. This was attached to the movie. It was Gothica with Halle Berry and Robert Downey Jr. when he actually broke Halle Berry's arm, and that was about the point where he stopped working for a while. Baba O'Reilly by the Waco Brothers. If you have to search to find how bad it is, search to find the song in the first place, and then you see how bad it isn't the biggest sin in music to be completely and utterly forgettable? Because I don't think either of us even knew that this cover version actually existed prior to 36 hours ago.
I mean, that's true. They had searched for it, but the Waco Brothers, like, I haven't even heard of the Waco Brothers at all, full stop, before that, and listening to their version of Baba O'Reilly made me want to go and find the Waco Brothers and listen to more songs from them. Behind Blue Eyes, really, I can't see anyone who would listen to Behind Blue Eyes and think, oh, let's find more songs by Limp Bizkit. This song is a hit. It was not.
1 minute left.
Behind Blue Eyes is literally the worst song ever that Limp Bizkit's done, and it makes people not care about the original Who song.
I would decidedly disagree with you on that one, because prior to Limp Bizkit's version of Behind Blue Eyes, I don't think I had actually heard Behind Blue Eyes by The Who before that. So then, because of this song, I had to go back and find the original to compare the two. And it is not their worst song that they've ever released, not even their worst cover, because I'm pretty sure that decidedly belongs to their atrocious way that they butchered George Michael's faith on their very first single. The Waco Brothers did decidedly terrible things to a song about teenage rebellion and turned it into a bunch of fat guys drinking in the back of a pickup truck. Oh, I'm a rebel. I got a rebel flag. No, that's not what the song is about.
Time. Well then, that got really exciting.
Very end. Wow.
All right, so we now move into closing arguments. Just because you went first, Malcolm will be going first at closing arguments. So 45 seconds to wrap up your statements.
Behind Blue Eyes is an atrocious cover that makes people not want to listen to any other Limp Bizkit song. It makes people not want to find the original Behind Blue Eyes and listen to it. It does a really disservice to the Who altogether. The Waco Brothers, Baba O'Reilly, it works in the country scene they were going for, and it makes you want to try and find the Waco Brothers and listen to more songs from them. I know I'm definitely going to try and find more songs from the Waco Brothers to listen to because of their cover of Baba O'Reilly. They sound like a fun band to listen to.
All right. Interesting closing arguments. It's really got a sense of the theme of what Malcolm was going for. Jess, you have 45 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Tonal shifts work until they don't. Taking Baba O'Reilly from the kids smoking behind the school back in the 60s and 70s and putting it into the country genre is completely disseminates what the, sorry, not the word I was looking for, but you know what I'm going for. It just completely destroys what the lyrics are actually about. Despite Malcolm's insistence that Behind Blue Eyes by Limp Bizkit makes you not want to, I'm pretty sure I can say equivocally it did make me want to seek out The Who, and I was actually able to get not just the original Behind the Blue Eyes, but even...
Time. All right. Interesting closing there as well. This one once again is a lot closer than I anticipated, but some great digs by both. There were some haymakers thrown and they landed. But I'm going to go to Cody first. Cody, based on the arguments provided, who gets your point?
This is one of my favorite fights I've ever heard. Like, I've never seen two people battle for shit in my entire life and, like, try to sell it to me. Like, I'm sorry, Malcolm, if you like this song by the Waco Brothers and don't like Bohemian Rhapsody, I really need to stop being friends with you. This song was it actually changed the entire tone of what Bubba O'Reilly is. But that's not the argument. That's not the viewpoint. I think Jess had an uphill flipping battle with this one because I think the most iconic who that's terrible that's out there is Limp Bizkit, and I think Malcolm did a great job of completing that, and even through some great haymakers. The one I loved the most was literally he said, "Listening to this will never make you want to seek out Limp Bizkit," which is the most true statement that has ever been uttered. Because Limp Bizkit is one of the worst bands of all time, in my opinion. Even though they did it all for the cookie. So I have to give it to Malcolm by a slight edge because I think Jess battled so well in this round. It just went a little dark at one point for Rebel Flag. I don't know where that came from, but she's probably not wrong because she's from Kansas, I'm from Missouri, and we have a lot of those people around. But I have to give Malcolm the edge.
All right, so Malcolm gets Cody's point. Caleb, based on the arguments provided, who gets your point and why?
Malcolm gets my point for basically all the same reasons that Cody said. I loved the Limp Bizkit line because it is so true, but I also laughed really hard at Jess's Rebel Flag comment. I thought that was pretty good. But no, yeah, I gave my point to Malcolm.
I'm also going to agree. Malcolm's that haymaker that Malcolm threw got me laughing. Got me like trying to like hold back laughter. So it's like, all right, that's probably like the knockout point for me. So Malcolm does get the point, getting two in a row there to be up 2-1. We now move into the final question number 4, and Malcolm is actually going to be going first in this one. 25 years ago, a couple weeks ago, The Night Before Christmas came into theaters and was at the time one of the highest grossing films of Halloween weekend. So I wanted to, with its 25-year anniversary and one of the greatest musicals, really, of the 90s, Kobe.
Totally disagree, but I'll hold on my thought.
All right, so so the question is for everybody watching, all two of you, with the exception of The Nightmare Before Christmas, what is the best song from? Or sorry, with the exception of This Is Halloween, what is the best song from A Nightmare Before Christmas? Malcolm,
talking is hard, isn't it?
Talking is very hard. Malcolm, you are going to be going first. What is the best song that is not This Is Halloween?
The best song from The Nightmare Before Christmas is by far the Oogie Boogie song. Every villain needs a good villainous song, and there's a lot of great villainous songs in the Disney musicals, and Oogie Boogie song is one of them. It's catchy. It really gets you pumping, and you can make everyone want to sing along to it. It's definitely one of the. It's definitely up there with the great songs, and it's not forgettable at all.
All right. Man, this is really becoming a Malcolm thing. Like, has been consistently ending 15 to 20 seconds early. Being very efficient with his time. Jess, you have a minute for your opening statement. What song did you pick and why?
Okay. As much as every Disney song kind of needs that Disney villain song, you also need the sweet love ballad. And Nightmare Before Christmas is one of the first times that they actually put that on its head and says, oh, hey, does he even notice that I'm here? And that is Sally's song. In there, you get the feeling of this sad little ghost, demon. I'm not entirely for sure what Sally actually is there. But she's fallen head over heels for this guy who she's not even for sure notices her and knows that he is on the path towards something that could really hurt him and hurt those around him, and she is genuinely afraid.
Time.
Sorry.
I do combine their competitors when I call time. That time is called. We will not have Cody Newberries of the world who like to just blabber on.
Excuse the hell out of you. I am one of the most diligent in ending.
You weren't like that all the time.
Wow.
We do have 5 minutes of free form. Keep in mind, Malcolm, if you get this point, you win the game. Jess, if you win this, we go to tiebreaker. 5 minutes. Let's get it on.
Sally's song is very forgettable. It's one of the most boring songs in The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's definitely not in the top 5 songs on that soundtrack. Oogie Boogie's song is a really well-known song. If you play it in the clubs, it's recognizable. Everyone will know instantly what it's from and which character is singing it.
See, I don't know what kind of clubs that you're going to where they're bumping the Oogie Boogie song, but okay, I guess that's some kind of weird Kiwi thing. But this is probably actually one of the least effective villain songs in the technically Disney universe. There's at least 20 that are miles and miles ahead of the Oogie Boogie song. Sally's song, you get this beautiful and short and to the point of Sally being genuinely worried for Jack's safety, worried that he's not going to be able to come back so that she can tell him that she's in love with him. Yes, she's talking about him of her dear friend, but we know that she wants so much more than just a dear friend. The Oogie Boogie song is literally just him torturing Santa Claus going, ooh, I'm the Oogie Boogie Man. I'm full of spiders. I'm bad. Okay. Next. I'd much rather sit down to a short little emotional release than to be bopping my head to I'm full of spiders. You should be afraid of me because I'm full of spiders, I guess. I don't really understand why we're supposed to be afraid of Oogie Boogie.
With Sally's song, just like you said with the villains, there are infinite amount of sweetheart love interest songs out there that are better than Sally's song. And with the Oogie Boogie song, it's one of those ones which you know his plan so well from the way he's singing it because it's explained quite well in there, and it's one that you don't even need the visuals to be seeing the movie to get the tune of the song. You can listen to the song and instantly remember the scene in your head, and it sticks in you. With Sally's song, it really doesn't. You can listen to it out there. It's like, this is so boring. It's it's really droning on about but I really don't picture this part in the movie. Oogie Boogie song is memorable.
See, because I think actually in the world of The Nightmare Before Christmas, you actually do need Sally's song to be able to establish just how connected she is to Jack Skellington and why she would go to these kinds of lengths to help him rally the rest of the Halloween people to get Sandy Claus back
1 minute left.
from the Oogie Boogie Man.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that Sally's song wasn't needed at all. I just said it's one that you don't remember. It's one that I agree. You do need the song in the movie, but it's definitely not one of the best sung songs. The Oogie Boogie song is by far the best sung song aside from This Is Halloween.
See, because is there? I hate to make this kind of point, but is there any actual singing in Oogie Boogie songs? It just sounds like a weird little poetry slam to me, and again, I'm completely unterrified by a Disney villain song. I should be terrified by the Disney villain song and going, okay, no, this is definitely a bad mofo. We need to stop him. And I don't get that from the Oogie Boogie song.
Oh, man. All right.
Brooklyn's going to lose his maple syrup here in a minute, guys.
Okay, so, we need to get into closing arguments first. Jess, you will be going first in the closing arguments. 45 seconds. Wrap up your statements. And when I call time, that means time. In the words of the great Yosemite Sam, when I says woes, I means woes.
Oh, wow, your Yosemite Sam is terrible.
Shut up, Brooklyn. Damn.
But all right. In order to get the full payoff for Jack in the end, he kind of ends up needing to get the girl. And you don't realize that he is going to get that there is even that possibility of him getting the girl until you hear Sally's song. As I've said, the Disney villain songs need to be able to establish that the villain I should be terrified of. And the Oogie Boogie song is quite literally the only Disney song of the 90s where I don't come away going, okay, that's a bad dude. We need to stop him. Sally's song, I feel every emotional pain that she is feeling. I feel the loss. I feel the fear.
Time.
I stopped.
We're getting there. We're getting better. We're getting better. All right, Malcolm. 45 seconds. Time begins, and I will remind Malcolm once again. When I say time, I mean time. You've been pushing that boundary a little bit, Mr. Lay. So, 45 seconds. We should wrap up your thoughts.
With every Disney movie, you need a great villain song, and Oogie Boogie song is definitely a great villain song. It may not be the best villain song that was in the 90s, but it's definitely second best. Singing can come in different forms. The style of singing that Oogie Boogie song is still singing. It doesn't matter if it sounds like poetry slam. You can get sung poetry. Bob Dylan's songs are mostly sung poetry. With Sally's song, it's slow. It's definitely forgettable. It just sounds the whole classic "Woe is me, I've got to get this guy's" kind of song.
Time. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get mine out of the way here. The big thing that I really want to hammer home is that I heard from Jess there are better songs, there are better Disney songs about villains. I heard from Malcolm there are better love ballads, better love songs in Disney films. I need to hear examples, people. For example, it's really easy for me to say Cody is a piece of shit. Cody is mean to me. But I need to give examples. Cody's mean to me because he hates Canadians, he hates musicians, and he just talks down to me all the time. I need to hear examples. I need to back this thing up. It's really easy to make those statements without providing something that I can be like, oh yeah, that is a better song than this. That is a better song than that. So that's a personal gripe, but I could be in the minority here. My point goes to Jess because I heard more from Jess about both songs, whereas from Malcolm, the overall theme that I got from Sally's song is that it's unrecognizable and that it's forgettable. And that Oogie Boogie songs are memorable. He caught up in the closing a little bit, where he gave some really good defense on Oogie Boogie song, but because of how Jess really balanced her attack and defense, I will give my point to Jess. I am going to go to Caleb next. Caleb, basic arguments provided. Who gets your point and why?
See, Malcolm picked the better song. The issue is he never explained to me why Oogie Boogie's song is a good song. All I heard from Malcolm was Oogie Boogie's song is the best song. Crickets. So I have to go with Jess because Jess gave me a little bit more than not a little bit, a pretty substantial amount more than Malcolm this round. So I have to give my point to Jess.
Okay. We are now. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that does tie things up. Jess does get 2 points there. Cody, your vote did unfortunately not count, but how would you have swayed and why?
Okay, so not being a pretentious asshole sitting in the corner. I don't say that you have to give me facts on best song of best villain songs or best love songs. For future reference, when you're battling a song inside its movie, you need to describe why it's the best song in the movie. It doesn't matter what other Disney songs or what other villain songs have come out in the 90s. That's not the question. And it gives you no weight because I'm not arguing. And Malcolm, you almost lost me and made me leave this stream if you say Oogie Boogie is the second best villain song of the 90s. I about threw up on camera. It was about to be a disgrace. I've figured out that I hate this entire dance-off because all these questions suck because I don't like any of it. I hate Nightmare Before Christmas. I think it's so overrated. But Jess battled really well. She did something that I respect, which she did other villain songs that are supposed to be scary and be intimidating. And Oogie Boogie is not that. And Malcolm, I was like, please counter it. Please hit it. Because I thought Malcolm did a really good job in his rebuttal because he said Bob Dylan songs are poetry, and that was a great counterpoint, but he never hit home that they never describe what the song really means to the characters in full detail. But I have to give it a Jess.
Also, Oogie Boogie song is completely disturbing. I don't know why Malcolm didn't mention that. It's a very disturbing scene.
Like that mustache.
Thank you.
Alrighty, guys. So, like every other dance-off before, we are tied up, which means we go into the speed round tiebreaker. How it's going to work is it works like this. I am going to give the competitors a question. Whoever I hear first will be going first. Each competitor will get 30 seconds for an opening, and then 20 for a rebuttal. This is meant to be a speed round. So competitors, do keep your thoughts efficient and intact. And when I do call time, I do mean time. So your question is, and once again, keep your ears perked. If I hear you first, you will be going first. We talked about bad Who covers, but your question for the speed round tiebreaker is, what is the best Who song?
Pinball Wizard.
Pinball Wizard?
Give me a second. Love Reign Over Me.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Love Reign Over Me.
Love Reign Over Me. All right. Okay, so I heard Pinball Wizard first. Malcolm, you have 30 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Pinball Wizard is the best 2 song. It's fun to listen to. It's really, really catchy to sing. When you listen to it, you're transported to the days in the arcade where you play pinball. It tells a good story about this guy who is deaf, dumb, and blind, and just is really good at playing pinball.
All right, ending a few seconds early there. Not quite a Malcolm delay, but ending a little bit early. We now go to Jess. 30 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Okay, in Love Reign Over Me, it's the complete opposite tonally from Pinball Wizard. You have the main character of Quadrophenia, Jimmy. He's having a crisis of life, and he goes out in the pouring rain and finds a level of spiritual clarity that, despite the fact that he's going back to the same old life that he's been going through, it's almost like he's matured and found his own strength to be able to deal with what he is going back into.
Time.
And
good job. All right, we now go into the rebuttals. Malcolm, you have 20 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Love Ran Over Me is pretty forgettable. It's a song no one remembers. It's not even from the best rock opera that the Who songs have been used in. Pinball Wizard is from Tommy, which is the best rock opera that the Who songs were included with.
All right, Jessica, you have 20 seconds for rebuttal. Time begins whenever you start talking.
okay, Love Reign Over Me actually has the better solos in both the guitar and the drum solos. It has the better introduction with the soft falling rain and the timpani and piano going throughout it. Pinball Wizard is such a completely overdone and overplayed song that it gets really exhausting to listen to at points.
Time.
And Love Reign.
All right. That was really close. Closer than I anticipated. I am going to go to Cody first because his vote did not count in the previous round. So, Mr. Newberry, based on the arguments provided, who gets your point and why?
Oh gosh, this one was a lot closer than I expected. Okay. So the only reason I'm going with this, because I think they both describe their songs really well. I just feel like Jess did too much explaining on her song. But it's very slight. I'm going to have to side with Malcolm very slightly on this. I just think he was able to attack a little bit more, and I think Jess just used a little bit of like opinion based, but like that doesn't really hold weight. But I could be wrong. It's their speed rounds is quick, so I mean if it's 51-49 at this point to me, so I have to give a slight edge to Malcolm.
All right, I'm gonna go next, and I am giving my point to Jess because I thought the openings were pretty well balanced out. There wasn't really a clear advantage winner, but the rebuttals is where Jess won me. Malcolm, like every song, not every song that you're up against is forgettable, and like whenever I heard that, I'm like, it's the same. It's just the same thing, and it's just like, I don't know. I wanted to hear more about why Love Reign Over Me is bad. Like you did bring up the good point. You did bring up the point about how Pinball Wizard is the better space opera. But I just got more from Jess on her rebuttal, how she broke down some of the musical elements and the instruments that are provided. So I'm going to give Jess my point, just because she went a little bit outside of the box on her rebuttal, which means Caleb, it comes down to you. Who had the better argument, and who gets the W tonight and advances in the journey to the crown?
Wow. That's a lot of pressure to put on me. Cody's face says it all. But based on the arguments that I heard, it was very close. I'm going to slightly lean towards Malcolm because Malcolm gave me just a little bit more about his song and did a little bit more attacking of Jess's song, whereas Jess never really gave me too much of a defense and never really attacked Malcolm's too hard. So I'm going to give – it's so close, but I'm going to go very slightly to Malcolm.
And your winner, advancing on to the semifinals to take on the winner of Caleb Coho and Matthew Rosa, the Crusher, Malcolm Goldie Lay. Wow, guys! Once again, dance off coming down to the tiebreaker, and by the skin of our teeth, skin of our teeth. Malcolm advancing on to the final. There, I know speak English good. I have to go to the winner, Malcolm. You fell behind early, 1-0, but then you got two in a row, and then the speed round you did edge out Jess. How do you feel about your performance today, and how do you feel about going up against potentially either Caleb or Matt in the semis?
I feel like my arguments could have had a bit of work. With that speed round, I actually haven't heard Jess's song that she picked before, so I had to really figure my figures like what can I say to attack it, and like when she mentioned what album it was from, was like just I know that mock up, so I'll just run with that, see what happens, and somehow it worked. But yeah, and for the record, I actually don't like the Record Brothers Bubba O'Reilly. I just had to defend it. So, so yeah.
Well done.
Well, that is always great. Having to defend a song or a movie that you hate is always tough. But I do give you credit there for doing a very difficult task. I now move on to Jess Morgan, the unfortunate loser. Unfortunately, the tides were not in your favor. Unfortunately, that the Who question was your demise. How do you feel about your performance today? Anything that you do differently? Anything that you would wish to change up?
Just for the record, I wrote down 4 infinitely better '90s Disney villain songs.
I'm upset
than
that
the
we
Oogie
prepared
Boogie
2,
song.
but it's okay with me.
And that's just from the '90s. But yeah, shit. I'll be honest, that worst Who cover song, I was betting on an audible getting called, and I really wanted to see Malcolm argue the reverse of that question.
that
was my whole strategy.
Probably
I had to pick
really
something that I could defend either way.
I definitely had a preparation and plan if it was a tryst. I was thinking, if anything's going to be a tryst, it's going to be that one.
I did. Thankfully, I did update my firewall, so we didn't have any hackers come in to intrude the match. Cough, Luca, cough, cough, cough. But I do want to go to our judges. Cody Newberry, you are a current champion of debate in some way, shape, or form. How do you feel about the performances today, and potentially going up against Malcolm in the future?
Did you just do like champion? Did you claim that my title's not real? Okay.
I mean, you don't have a physical belt, so
I'll freaking buy one if that's what it takes. Okay. So here's my viewpoint. You don't know how you work your own show because Malcolm never won 2 points in a row. Well, he didn't have to win 2 in a row. He didn't go down 2-0. They kind of split back and forth. So you said that, and you're incorrect, just like when you debate. Am I worried about facing Malcolm? This is no offense to Malcolm, not really. but that's not saying that he's not great. I play him every week or listen to him debate on Thursdays. So we already know each other's strategy going in. So there's a plenty of game film between me and Malcolm, or Malcolm watching me debate or me watching Malcolm debate. So if anything, we're just going to be better by the time we do face, if that's the way it turns out. And it'll be a bloodbath. The ones I'm scared about, actually, I think Jess and Malcolm, they're too quiet debaters, which is not bad. It's just never me and co-host style, so it's rough to sit back because we're like hammer, go out. I think Malcolm really needs to study up because if he's going to go against Coho or Rosa, dang. I have played Rosa. Rosa is a son of a bitch. I don't like Rosa as a person. No, I'm just kidding. I don't like Rosa as a debater at all. I think he is downright one of the most despicable debaters in the history of this world because he would literally, if you gave him Hitler, I'm pretty sure he would argue that Hitler's a great person and convince half the people that he possibly was. And it's terrifying. He's the one person that actually intimidates me. If Caleb keeps his cool under pressure, he can win that match. But that's all if Caleb can keep his cool, because Caleb is always one question away from being a champion or winning a match. And I think Caleb is one of the strongest people in this league. Now, you and Luca, I don't give a damn. I got you both hands down. That's not even a fucking question. It could be music. It could be TV. It could be which dog's the best. You can't hold a candle to me. Luca's a champion, but he's a paper champion. I can win.
Well then, good talking to you too, Cody.
Love you,
we will
man.
now be going to Mr. Caleb Coho. Caleb, you could potentially be going up against Malcolm, but you do have a hurdle in Matthew Rosa. How do you feel about the performance today? And any final thoughts?
I'm not scared of Malcolm. I'm not scared of Rosa. Scared's not the word. I'm more acknowledging of Rosa's abilities, and I know that he's no slouch. Do I think I'm gonna lose that match? No. Do I think I'm going to wipe the floor with him? No. But do I think that this is like a 4-point match that goes in my favor? Yes. So I am prepared fully to take on Malcolm and win. I am fully prepared to I meant 3-point whatever. Shut up, Cody.
Gosh, no one knows how
4-question
this
match.
stuff works,
Cody,
and I'm not-
you're ruining it like everything else. Shut up. All right. All right. So freaking forgot where I was, you stupid Missouri person.
Well, Caleb
Hold
somehow
on,
broke
hold
himself
on.
and
I'm
broke
not
Cody.
done, Brooklyn. I'm not done. Okay. I will not get off of my soapbox until I want to. God. Okay, so I'm not scared of Malcolm. I'll beat Malcolm. I'll take out Rosa, and then I'll beat. Is Cody next after that? I don't know. I mean, me and Cody. I just want to play Cody again. Cody's my favorite person to fight against. I just want to play Cody. But speaking of, Cody said that I'm the most dominant player in the debate leagues. Or I don't know if dominant was the word. You said I was one of the toughest or determined or best. 1 point, something about 1 point away.
You have the most potential.
Potential.
But you shit the bed on the last question normally.
Okay.
Well,
that's about to change. Look, Cody, that's about to change. Because not only am I going to beat Rosa and then beat Malcolm, and then shut up, and I'm going to come fight Cody at the Snowball. That's how it's going to work. I'm going to be the debate champion, but I want to play twice at the Snowball. And there's an area of trivia I've always wanted to prove myself in, but it always has been, I've got 3 rounds of BS music questions that no one gives a crap about, and that's why I'm 0-2 in Jukebox trivia. I lost to JTH because JTH got a sports question for a 5-pointer in a music debate league. That is what I call B freaking S and collusion. Now, I know I can win a Jukebox trivia match if it is specific to an artist that I care about. I did not amazing in Weird Al, but that's because there was a lot of really strong questions.
I was just going to say, how did you fare in Weird Al?
I didn't do good in Weird Al, but that's because there were a lot of deep cut questions I wasn't prepared for, and I'm not the biggest Weird Al fan. I like Weird Al, not the most deep cut fan of his. And I didn't get to play Billy Joel.
How'd you do,
and I'm actually
second.
I'm actually pretty happy I wasn't in the Billy Joel one because there were a lot of key questions that I don't like. But there is one music artist that I will gladly take anyone on in a one-on-one Iron Man match setting. That is the post. He's on a poster right here next to my computer. That is the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. I will take anyone on in a Michael Jackson match, but I'm not calling out just anyone. There's someone in particular that is really, really, really cocky when it comes to playing trivia. I'm sorry, Jess. I'm sorry. I had an interruption. It threw me off. Now listen. This guy claims he knows everything about Michael Jackson. I've heard it from people all over the world. I've heard it from people like Brooklyn. I've heard it that this guy in the chat rooms wants Cody, you're from Missouri. No one cares. Shut your face. Now, okay. You like the Red Sox. We get it. Now, Jeremy the Atom Adams. Guy, I hear you like Michael Jackson, and I hear you've wanted to play an Iron Man match. Me, you, Snowball. Let's make a Michael Jackson Iron Man match happen. Screw the dogs barking. Screw Cody Newberry. Screw Jessica Morgan. Screw Brooklyn Vale. I had a good promo I was cutting, and it just fell apart. And this is why I don't do stuff live. So you know what? Jeremy, me, you, Michael Jackson Iron Man match with the Snowball. Let's do it once and for all.
Well, I do owe Jeremy an Iron Man match because he was supposed to be both in the Weird Al match and the Billy Joel match, but life did find a way. So I'm genuinely curious to hear his response. I will be sure to get a response for you by within a week, and we'll see if this is going to happen. But you never quite know. That is going to wrap things up, guys. We are just under an hour and a half. But I do want to thank everybody for coming on today. We'll do some quick plugs and then GTFO. Malcolm, the winner today, where can the cool kids of the world find you?
You can find me on Take Three Productions, hosting my show called Rankum. Last night, we did Arrowverse characters. And next week, in honor of the great Stan Lee, we're doing MCU movies. You can also find me competing in trivia on Full Metal Multiplex. I have a movie debate match coming up on the 24th where I face Robert Parker. And you can also find me on Twitter, Letterboxd, and Stardust at Melkor.
All right. To our unfortunate loser today, Jess Morgan, where can the Jukebox heroes of the world find you?
You can probably still find me on Facebook and Twitter and probably making fun of now Cody for being from Missouri. Thank you for letting me know that. This is going to be so much fun.
Better than Kansas.
Yeah, who won the border war? Anywho, you can find me all over Facebook and Twitter and pretty much just that anymore. I'm kind of going through some personal issues of my own, and I'm taking a step back from competing in the future, probably for quite some time.
That is unfortunate to hear. I do hope things do work out well for you, and that you do come back better or stronger than ever. To our judges today, Cody Newberry, where can the cool kids of the world find you?
You can find me correcting Brooklyn everywhere he goes because he can't learn how to talk well. That's really bad for him. You can find me on Watch Along. We're doing Spider-Man 2. Not Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is co-host favorite. We're doing Raimi Spider-Man 2, so that's tomorrow or Wednesday. You can find me Thursday defending my belt, hopefully, against whoever shows up. on late night, which is the best show on this channel. Please come watch it. Yeah, we have a great time. You can find me Fridays doing Full Metal Geek. Sometimes I host matches. And then I'm returning to Rankum, I hope, this week as the grumpy old man in the corner that tells everybody that they're flipping wrong, and I'm right. So this will be fun.
All right, and to our other judge today, Caleb Coho, where can the Jukebox Heroes of the World find you?
The Raimi trilogy is overrated. Don't at me. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Caleb Coho. That is KALEBKOHO. You can find me on YouTube, Caleb Coho, where I do music, Coho Productions, where I do film. And on both channels right now, you can find my movie Chick Part Duo, which is out for free. What is not free is my album Shoot for Teams with my group The Forks, which you can find on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you consume your digital music. If you like rap music, please listen to it. Tell me what you think. Support the album. New one coming soon. Very excited about it. And you can find me over on Multiplex Entertainment, hosting Fandom Fight every Friday, and a new show with Jake Mangoni coming on Thursdays very soon. But yep, that's where you can find me.
All right, and last but definitely not least, I am the Black Hunter Brooklyn Vale. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at TheRealBK10, the number, not the word. You can also find me right here on Take 3 Productions, running not one but two shows. On Thursdays, I do Late Night with Take 3, as Cody mentioned, a various topical pop culture podcast show. This week, we will be covering Harry Potter films with the release of Fantastic Beasts and the Grindelwald, something or other. And then we also be doing a section on In Memoriam of Stan Lee. Unfortunately, he passed away earlier today. And then a various music trivia, debate, and countdown show. Be sure to check us out next week, where it'll be Matthew Rosen taking on Caleb Coho in our other quarterfinals, which should be a barn burner to say the least. So also, guys, on Multiplex Entertainment, I just had a match with Matthew Rosen, question writer, Jukebox Trivia, which was very entertaining. Caleb, let me plug, please. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe on Take 3 Productions. If you think that you can take on Malcolm, you can't. Actually, just kidding. You can. You can actually come into Jukebox Dance Off. We'll be starting up a new schedule for January, but as of right now for the year, it is a little bit booked up. But once again, guys, check everything else we do on Coldplay. On Take 3.
Dumbass. Good lord. You called
I don't know.
Caleb. You called me Caleb and just called this channel Coldplay.
I don't know why.
Wait, were you actually trying to call me out? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
I did this, and he goes, "Let me plug Caleb."
I know, because
And
I was
you
like,
were just
what?
looking down.
I was like,
Anyways, be sure to check out the rest of the content on Take 3. Reactions on Tuesdays and Fridays to Summon, which drops usually today or tomorrow. The watch along is Late Night with Take 3. Rhyme and Reason, a great podcast show starting Matthew Kerr and Sandy Robinson. That is going to wrap things up today. For Cody, for Jess, for Caleb Coho, and for Malcolm O'Delay, I'm the Black Hunter Brooklyn Vale. Cheers, guys, and as always, drive safe.